What up, everybody? I'm Rachel, and welcome back to another episode of Pinpointe Unfiltered.
And it's me, your boy Josh, the realtor of realtors. I like that, realtor of realtors. That's a new one.
All right.
And today, what we're going to be talking about are our kind of personal experiences and our takes on what makes New York, New York. Right?
Yeah,
That's a good way
I
of
think,
putting it.
yeah, I think we're going to talk about like the highs and lows, right? Like the good and the bad, because if anybody's ever been to New York City, it smells like garbage.
The good, the bad, and the bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's
And
get it.
yeah, and so
That's a
I think
title.
people want to know, like, for New Yorkers, like everybody likes talking shit about bad shit and then loves hyping up all the good shit. And then people that are not from New York, I think they just wonder why people fucking live here. And I think we are a good combo, right? You're a lifelong born and bred New Yorker. I'm a transplant. Been here almost 9 years. So,
Gotcha.
so I think this is a good combination.
Yeah, yeah. Like Rachel said, I'm a native. There's not many of us left with high rents that we've talked about, with the fact that it's gets cold and people are like, you know what, screw this. I want some sun. I kind of feel if you go down to Florida, you find more New Yorkers
Florida.
than you might find Floridians at this point.
Yeah, they're all fucking moving.
But yeah, this it's tough because like for me, I am just the biggest New York fan. The only thing I ever like say I hate is the cold. That's it. That's the
Wait,
only
you've
thing I
never
hate.
lived anywhere else, have you?
No, no, nope. I even went to school here, so it's like yeah, this is pretty much all I know.
I mean, you've traveled.
Well, yeah, but like all I really know. Travel is always vacation, so it's always fun, like interesting.
Hmm.
Even though I've spent some places like more than a month, which is a good amount of time to get a good idea for certain places. But again, it's when you're on vacation, it's all glitz, glam, fun. Um, when you have to get up every day and go to work and like do like normal like stuff, food shopping and laundry and all that other stuff. That's what makes life kind of life. And in New York, all those little things can be very adventurous because I probably have a story for all the random little mini acts of life turn into like an episode of Seinfeld, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I want to ask you a question though, like, because I'm a transplant, right? So I know when I fell in love with New York, but like this is all you know, right? So do you like have a moment that you remember that you're like, oh yeah, this is my spot. Like I don't need to be anywhere else. Like have to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was thinking about it when we first I was looking at the notes. I was like, oh, I don't know if I have a moment, but now that I'm
Hmm.
like kind of thinking about it, there is a moment. So when I first started real estate, it was the first time that I made a decent amount of money. I'm not gonna say like we're rich. It was just more money than I've ever made working.
Sure.
And now I have money and time because no one can tell me when I was going to take off. Like I could take as much time as I want as long
Hmm.
as like the rent was paid. I'm like, all right, screw it, let's go. So I started to travel and I started to like really try, not like the normal American, like, oh, I took like a weekend or like at most 2 weeks. Like I started traveling. I was like, all right, I'm going to spend a month over here, a month and a half over here. And like I said earlier, it's like when you're traveling, it's new, it's exciting, it's fun. So you like I never really get homesick. But I literally just like landed in JFK after like not being in New York for I want to say almost like 2 months. And I hadn't talked to anyone, hadn't seen anyone, but the minute the plane landed, there was like this energy that hit me. And
Hmm.
I was like, that's what I was missing. Like
Yep.
the culture was amazing everywhere else, the food was amazing, like
Hmm.
great experiences, but there was something that just wasn't right. And I'm not gonna say right. That was something that was missing more.
Right. And
And
it's
what?
it's it's unique to an individual, right?
Yeah,
Like everybody has that
exactly.
a different feeling. Sure.
I couldn't put I couldn't put a finger on it like while I was traveling, but as soon as I landed, I was like, oh, that's what I'm missing. That energy. And then I started really kind of paying attention to the stuff, like the things that I always took for granted in New York. I actually started paying attention and appreciating more. I was like, holy shit, this city is like the best.
Mhm.
Not because I'm from here, but for so many reasons that I'll like list a little bit later. But yeah, it was that moment. It was me not being here for, a month or so, or like almost 2 months. And then I land and I'm like, oh, that like that energy, that frequency, I need that. And it's funny because a lot of like my characteristics, I guess like my personality are like New York shit.
Yeah.
Like only New York could really cultivate
Like what?
this. Like I'm a hustler. I'm like a
Hmm.
born hustler that's always like on like wanna being on the go. And if I lived in the middle of the suburbs, I would probably go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have some qualities that I could only have gotten from growing up in Miami. Number
Yeah.
one being ratchet. I feel like classy, and I can hide the ratchetness, but deep down it's always there. So I feel you. Like there are certain things that you just get from growing up in a certain place.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that you said like when you landed, you touched down, like you were still on the plane, right? You just had this like
Yeah, I was
feeling. Yeah.
like still like people were still clapping.
I hate when people clap, by the way. When you land on a plane and everybody claps, I get so fucking annoyed. It's like, dude, it's their fucking job. Do you fucking
Like
clap when the cabbie gets you to the fucking place you're trying to go or the fucking train stops where you're. Fuck that shit. Sorry. That was a minor rant.
triggered.
Yeah.
And people,
No,
Rachel
so,
travels a lot. So
yeah,
there's a lot of clapping, like useless clapping she has to go through.
it's really annoying. Um, so what was I gonna say? So I have a similar story, right? That when people are like, "Oh, like how do you know like New York is the place?" So my homegirl moved to the city from Miami. I want to say like 2010, so like 15 years ago, and I started to come visit her like at least once a year. And I think on the third trip, I landed in LaGuardia. It's like nighttime. She had a car, so she actually like decided, fuck it, I'll come pick you up. She comes, picks me up. We get in the car, the top down because it's convertible, and I'm just like, man, it feels good to be home. And I didn't live here. Like it's just we were still in Queens, like on the highway.
And Rachel doesn't even like queens like that.
No, but I was just like, it just like it felt like home, and it's a feeling, like it's just a vibe, like an energy, like you said. Like I just got here, and I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
And then it took me until 2016 to get here, but like ever since that moment, I was like, all right, I got to find my way to the city. Like that is where I'm supposed to be, and of course, everybody in Miami is like, oh, like it's cold, like why are you gonna go up there, like this, like. And I'm like,
First thing I ask all people from like nice weather places,
that's
I'm
because
like,
that's
why are
where I'm
you
supposed to
here?
be.
Did
That's
you get
like,
lost?
no, but then people are like, oh, why'd you leave Miami? And I'm like, well, I have a love-hate relationship with Miami.
I love
I love
Miami.
it because like I grew up there. It's always gonna be my home, but I'll never live there again. But like you said, like one of the things that makes you you is very true about being a New Yorker. You're a hustler, right? And that's one of the
Yeah.
things that I describe to people about the difference between Miami and New York because, Miami likes to some New Yorkers and some people in Miami, not most Miamians don't like to be called that, but it's commonly referred to as the sixth borough.
LES,
It's
the
well,
sixth
no, it's
borough.
Miami. So a lot of people think that Miami is the sixth borough, which whatever, I disagree completely. But how I describe Miami is all flash, no cash, right? People, and that's actually I have to say I got that from my homegirl. I didn't create that tagline. Um, So like people there, they're not hustling. They're just working hard as they have to, which is not very hard, to make money so that they can pretend that
And
they
they're
have a shit ton
rich.
of money, that they party hard, they buy a whole like they'll fuck those are the type of people that are like, well fucking buy a Maserati and live in the hood. Like
So basically, Miami was Instagram before Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like one of the things that I had to get used to when I moved here was I didn't have to get dressed up every time I left the house. Like because everyone here is walking from place to place, taking the train, whatever, like you don't really see women wearing heels. Like they'll bring their heels in their bag and they'll wear like, sneakers or whatever because they're walking everywhere. In Miami, like bitches get dressed up like to the nines to go to the fucking movie theater where ain't nobody gonna see their ass. So like it's a very different culture. It's a very different vibe. And so I like the New York style much more because people here we're all struggling together. We're all
Yeah.
trying to make ends meet. We're all trying to get somewhere. We're not just trying to survive. Like there is that survival aspect to it, but it's like, all right, how can I get better? How can I do better? Where can I go from here? And
And
that's
also, no
that's what
one
I
cared. Like here, a bit more. It's like no one cares.
oh nobody gives a shit
So
about anything.
it's like no one cares if you have money because
I
there's
mean, you could
someone
be a
else that has
fucking
even more
crazy
money.
person on the street, and New Yorkers are gonna walk right past you. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, which is I've been told, well, I don't know a shit ton of celebrities, but I've heard that one of the reasons a lot of celebrities like coming to New York and like staying here is because you could blend in and just be, like I said, everyone is just moving, everyone's just like not solely focused on their own thing, but I got a train I got to catch. I got meetings I got to go to. I have so much, and that's across the board for most people. It's like
Yep.
go 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 go. We don't really have time to like. I wonder what that person's doing. Oh, I wonder like no one cares. No one cares who that guy is, and that guy could be like Jeff Bezos. But yes, the hustle and bustle is probably what like you know kind of defines me a little bit. A lot of it, I guess. But it's when people ask me why I wouldn't want to leave New York, or when I think about like could I possibly like legitimately live someplace like call it home? The diversity is like, where can I find this type of diversity in such a, small area where New York City, like the five boroughs, is not huge. Like, think of Texas, huge. New York City, super small, but we have a ton of diversity in this like little area where the 1% and like everyone else are sharing the same block.
Yeah.
I like that. I enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, you can have like million dollar condos or multi-million dollar condos on the same block as projects. So
Oh
let's get
yeah.
into some of the highs of living in New York. Like some things that you can get here that you can't get anywhere else.
Pizza, bagels,
I mean,
coffee.
well, I'm gonna fight you on
You
the
can get
coffee.
coffee anyway, but you can't get it with the New York accent.
Yeah, Americans don't know how to make coffee, so there's that. I'd rather have my Cuban coffee. And that you can't get in New York. You can only get in Miami. I mean, otherwise I have to make it myself.
You just can't get it like everywhere. There's gonna be like three spots you can get it, and most likely you're gonna have to go into
They're like
Queens.
Queens.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. In Miami, I can just go like to any
that's just like every
Ventanita and
bodega.
just yeah, basically. Anyways, so bagels, pizza, Broadway, off Broadway, right? We got lots of arts. The arts here, we have a shit ton of art galleries, impromptu fucking performances or art shows.
Pop up shows.
Yeah, it's
There's a
crazy.
lot of pop up shows.
I mean, and concerts, right? Everybody comes here. Everybody comes here. Not just like the big names, but obviously the big names, but also like, um smaller artists that not everybody knows, but there's like a niche for them here.
Did you see that Bad Bunny did impromptu like show on the subway?
No, but didn't he once ride on top of like a truck?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
that's like
for this last album that he just like dropped, he
yeah,
was like on Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, whatever it was, one
Jimmy
of those
Fallon.
Jimmys.
Not Kimmel. Kimmel's in LA.
And yeah, so like he like was in a disguise or whatever and was like in the subway station and just started jamming out, which is absolutely wild
Yeah.
that a person of his stature would do something like that. But you kind of could do something like that in New York.
For sure. For sure.
You
I mean,
know,
you can do all kinds of crazy things like the movie Casino, right? With De Niro, directed by Scorsese. I think, I don't know, if it's a 30-year anniversary, something like that, some large anniversary of the movie coming out. And they're going to be showing it here. They're doing a screening and a talkback with Scorsese and De Niro. Like,
are they?
yeah. But like that shit doesn't happen anywhere else. Like that's just gonna randomly happen here. You know what I mean?
I absolutely do know what you mean. Um, it sucks because a lot of my childhood favorite movies, they're all hitting that like 30th anniversary, like 30th
Yeah.
anniversary, 40th anniversary, and like you can actually go see it in theaters again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. I'm like, yes, I get to see it. But I'm like, damn, it's been 30 years already. That's means I'm a little bit older, but whatever.
Yeah. What else? What else are some things that you like love about New York that you can't really get anywhere else?
The convenience. Convenience is a huge thing where we're 24 hours. And I know Rach is going to like, no, we're not 24 hours. We are. You just have to know how to like move 24 hours.
I'm not gonna say anything.
It's not as advertised as, let's say, Miami, right? It's awesome being able to like walk most places. It's great that we have public transportation that's always on. Yeah, it might not,
24-hour public
run.
transit. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Even like nightlife, we have like I said, you just can't stay in the same room for 24 hours, but you could party for 24 hours here. Um, that's on, Pinpointe Unfiltered VIP
After,
edition
isn't that what you called it the
after
one time?
dark.
Pinpoint Unfiltered After Dark. No, like so I didn't really party too much here. Like when I moved here, I was like already towards like the end of my partying days. So I don't really like from my experience partying in New York is kind of whack compared to Miami, but I mean,
It's different. It's different. I love like that's again one of the reasons why I
yeah, it
love
is different.
Miami, because I was like, oh, this is like kind of like New York, but way better weather, and
It's way
all
too
these
fucking
women
hot
are
there.
half
Are you kidding me?
naked.
It's way too
I,
hot.
I loved it. I was all for it.
Yeah, no, but I think the public transit is clutch. Like I'm telling you, when I first moved here, I was like, oh shit, I could get drunk and I don't have to drive anywhere. Like I could just like hop in the train and get my ass to anywhere I need to
Yeah,
go home, go somewhere else, wherever it is. Um,
and
that
with
for
the
sure is good because drunk driving accidents is real bad.
we do not promote drunk driving people, and then with like the invention of Uber, like I remember when that came out.
Mhm.
I sound so old, but I'm like, oh my god, this is like heaven sent,
Yeah.
because you had to like, so take it where I live, right? So Lower East Side, where when I first moved over there, it wasn't like a happening, like my area wasn't like, busy, populated like that. So there weren't many like yellow cabs that would like drive by. So I would have to walk like a few blocks to get to like the main street, like one of the main streets, to like
Mhm.
catch a yellow cab. When it's raining, when it's snowing, you're like, I don't know if I
Yeah,
want to
that's
do
a pain in
that.
the ass.
When Uber was invented, and I was like, wait, you just like open this app and they come to like your door.
It
I don't
appears.
have to have like cash on me. I don't have to speak any language that they might not understand. Changed the game. It
Mhm.
really changed the game. Like that was a big thing. That was a big thing. Yeah, so the convenience is huge. So it's like diversity, convenience,
Food. Oh my God, food. Let's not
food.
forget about food. They're like some of my favorite restaurants are here in the city. Like, you can't like there are some things that we don't have, like good Cuban food. Again, you'd have to get that in Queens. But like any other type of food, there's nothing better. Like that's the thing. It's like you were saying, like diversity, right? It's not just diverse people. It's like diversity in culture and arts and
Yeah,
food and like literally everything. We have everything here. Yeah, man, I love the city.
this is like honestly, this place is, and I used to say this all the time, where I was lucky enough to be given a education on like the world
Mm,
just by living here, because I have friends from all over the place. I have like, I've been to, like, even growing up as a child, where it's like, oh, you go to dinner to someone's house, you go like a sleepover, like normal like kid stuff that people do everywhere. I was going into people's houses that were like from different countries, like different immigrants, where it's like, oh, it's not just like Puerto Rican. I was like going into like Asian households and like Hindu households and Jewish households, like so many different cultures. So with that, so many different foods, so many different languages that you hear. And then you start learning that, we're not all that different from each other. So it's a level of acceptance that I've learned at a
Yeah.
young age. So when I travel as an adult, I've kind of like, oh, I have a friend who had this food and like celebrates this holiday and blah 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 blah. um that is such a huge thing, as like in my eyes as a human. Is like to have that, I'm like super lucky, because there's people like from very small towns that, it's sad to say, is like, oh, I've never like been around, let's say, a gay person. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
I'm
like that, how is that even possible?
right here.
You know what I mean? So nowadays it's a little different with the internet, where we're a little bit more connected. um but before, like, I'm coming from, when I think about like growing up, this is the age before the internet, really.
Hmm.
So New York was kind of divided a bit, but again, since we're so close, yeah, you just walk a few blocks and you're in a different, like, you're gonna
Totally
hear
different
different
neighborhood. Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I
For
mean?
sure.
So that level of diversity, culture, music, food, religion, all that good stuff is something that I couldn't live without.
Yeah. You can't, and it's hard to get anywhere else. Like I think I read somewhere sometime like Jackson Heights in Queens has like is the most diverse place like on the planet. There's over 100 languages spoken there, some ridiculous number like that.
Yeah.
But okay, so I wanted to ask you, what is like the most New York thing that's ever happened to you? Or one of your favorite?
Most New York thing that's ever happened to me. I'm trying to think. It's like, first I want to keep it PG. Maybe PG,
Why? I've been cursing
whatever.
up a storm.
That's what I said. Maybe PG-13. Most New York thing.
You want to think of it while I talk about mine?
Yeah. You
All right.
tell me yours, and then I'll keep thinking on this, because
All
this
right. So
one's
it's
a
not the
difficult
most New
one.
York thing, but it was like not long after I moved here. Um, I was I was going somewhere on the Upper West, and I think I was like going to a doctor appointment or something, and I had some time to kill. So I went into like a deli. I want to say it was like 71st and Broadway. I don't think that deli's there anymore, but I went in, got something to eat. They had a couple tables. I sit down. I'm
I know what
eating.
deli. I lived like right down the block from there, so I know what
Yeah, I
deli you're
know.
talking about.
So I'm sitting there, I'm eating, and I like there's these like two dudes like at the table next to me having a conversation. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just like eating my own fucking food. And I look over and it's Mark Ruffalo, the actor.
That's is that, what's his name from Marvel?
He
Or am
plays
I thinking
Hulk.
someone different?
No, he plays the Hulk.
Yeah, that's him. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
Mark
terrible
Ruffalo.
with names. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. So I looked over, I saw him, and like they're having a conversation. I at this point I don't remember what it was, but I just like turned back around. I was like, all right, whatever. Just keep eating my food. I had probably been there for like 15 minutes before realizing like there's an A-list celebrity sitting right next to me, and I don't give a fuck. And also he's there like having a regular conversation, not another like he's not having a conversation with another celebrity. It was just somebody else, and they were like having a very like normal conversation. So I think that was like something that stood out, right? Like because like what we said earlier, like people are unfazed here, right? Like we don't give a shit about what's happening in somebody else's life, right? Like you could be the craziest person or like a celebrity, and we're just gonna be like, all right, I'm eating my fucking lunch. Like I got somewhere to be after this.
I'm walking here.
Yeah. So that was one of my one of my like favorite things. It was just like, oh, okay. Because like in Miami, like it's not, at least when I was there, it wasn't so common to just like walk into a place to eat. Like, you know, low key, like it's a deli. It's not even like a fancy deli. It's not like Katz's or anything like that. You know, when you're gonna see somebody like that. So that was like, oh, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think I got mine now. Based
Okay.
off of what you said, I have like kind of like similar kind of
Hmm.
story. The most New York thing in terms of like, oh shit, that just happened on the Upper West Side. Like the Upper West Side is happening. Like it
Yeah.
really is.
We also spent a lot of time there.
So I would I worked. That's how I started real like that was the neighborhood I started real estate in. Like our office was on 72nd
Hmm.
Broadway. And lunchtime, like I would always go for like a smoke break. And I'm walking with like my buddy and we notice like it's like Monday or whatever. We notice it's snap. That's like Tony Danza like
Oh
sitting
shit.
outside. It was like, oh cool. Hey, what's going on, Tony? Like, love your work, blah blah blah. Keep it moving. That's Monday.
Hmm.
Tuesday, go back. Tony's like at the same spot. It's like Tony and I had like the same schedule. So it was like, all right, cool. Like Tony, like awesome, right? So Thursday, like we've had a week of this now. Like now we're approaching the end of the week. Go smoke. I had seen Tony with like this older lady. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't know who she was. Whatever. And so me and my buddy were smoking, and this older lady that was sitting with Tony like a couple days out the week is like approaching us, and like the first thing we're thinking is like she's gonna complain that we're smoking, and now this is New York before marijuana became like legal.
Hmm.
So we're like, oh man, she's gonna like start giving us crap. She comes to us and she's like, you guys are the ones, and we're like, what? She's like, yes, this whole week I've been like having like, I was like, I guess Tony's like one of her good friends. It's like, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
having like lunch with one of my good friends and like they're eating outside. And this like aroma of like this great weed is just like coming to us. And I'm like, follow my nose. I need to know where this is at. She found us. She found our like little spot, like again, because this is before like weed was legal.
Right, right, right. You had to like hide it.
So you kind of had to like, go into little like corners and cuts.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just like randomly meeting a celebrity and then the celebrity's friend like ends up like smoking with us and like
Oh
having
shit.
like, a smoke sesh. Um, yeah, stuff like that is I guess some of my favorite like moments. Like when you just randomly like meet people and all of a sudden like become friends
Hmm.
off of like the stupidest things, which I don't consider smoking one of the stupidest things. But it's just like a random normal thing that you're not thinking anything of it. And you kind of forget that again, that even these celebrities or people who are always like amongst the celebrities do the same things that we do all the time.
Hmm.
And I feel that because New York is so jam packed, you get to like realize that a lot more often than you would if you lived other places. So yeah,
All right.
smoke sesh with Tony Dance's possible assistant. I don't know. I can't remember her name now.
Or friend. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of the,
The
highs,
goods,
the good shit about living in New York. So let's talk
the
about,
lows.
yeah. And I'm gonna say it's literal shit.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but like there's always shit on the sidewalk. And I want to believe that it's dog shit, but I know there's like a high probability that it's human shit.
Yep.
So like one of the telltale signs that any New Yorker can like, okay, that's a fucking tourist is because they're looking up, right? They're looking up the skyline as they're walking. I don't look straight ahead. I look straight ahead and down because I'm like, I need to be looking for the shit because
Yeah.
I'm not about to step in some fucking maybe not dog shit.
Yeah. Maybe not dog shit. I like that.
Because I have to hope that it's just dogs, but it's not. So yeah, I mean, Danny and I like we call Manhattan Poo Poo Island. So it's
Some
just covered in
neighborhoods
poop.
worse than others.
And so like because my building is like right next to the projects, and for some reason like it's just covered in shit. Like I
See,
because I walk one block away from the projects and there's no poop. So like I don't want to blame the projects, but like it's a correlation that I'm making, right? Like any of the blocks that I pass, because the Fulton House projects go from like 19th to like 16th, right? So anytime I'm walking any of those blocks, covered in shit. I cross Ninth Ave, barely any shit. So like there's a strong correlation there.
yeah, I hear you, and that's exactly how I felt until I moved to the Upper West Side.
They don't pick up their shit there.
I moved to the Upper West Side thinking I was like, we made it, right? You know what? We're doing better in life. You know, this broke kid from Bushwick, the projects is moving up. I got Central Park as my
Hmm.
backyard. Look at me now, right? If I was an Instagram like person, you would see me all the time. Like, oh yeah, we're like living it up. Those people on the Upper West Side with their very expensive puppies do not pick up even a little bit of poop, even
Come
a
on.
little bit.
I always pick up my dog shit.
It's a minefield
Yeah.
of
Oh
shit.
my God. And then like when it snows,
Whew. That's when it's
bombs.
dangerous
It's
because you don't
bombs
know
because you don't
what's
know what
under
you're
that.
stepping on. And when it starts to melt, oh, you're fucked.
So yeah, I used to think I was like, oh, you know what? All the shit is near the projects because none of these people care about like their no, no,
It's not. Okay, fair
it's not.
enough.
It's everywhere. I think it's the reason you don't see it more in Central Park is because people are a little bit more afraid of to be socially judged. Because Central Park, there's always kind of people like walking around, so it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? You see another person not picking up their dog shit, like someone's gonna say something. Outside of that, like on the like residential like blocks, oh no, these people are just like, oh, nobody's around, leave it.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved to the city, I lived on 111th, right? So I lived a block from the park, and so I would walk Harvey in the park. And yeah, I didn't really see too many people like not picking up their dog shit, but I would see a lot of shit on the sidewalk. But there was also a lot of homeless people that would like lay on the benches because like right outside the park there was always like benches.
One of the reasons it's one of the low points
Yeah, it's a
of New
shitty
York.
reason. It's a
It's a
shit. It's
shitty
a it's a
reason.
shitty thing. It's a shitty thing about New York. Literally. What
I
else?
think another. Oh man, I hate talking about this because this makes me feel bad. But do we have some scammers in New York?
Really?
Yeah, they are dressed up or not dressed up.
I
Little
mean, everybody has
tidbits.
scammers, but I mean, I'm from Miami, so everyone's fucking shady ass piece of shit.
So there is a good, and I didn't realize this until a friend pointed this out. So then I started paying attention. Like I started like actually paying attention a little bit more. So yes, we do have like homelessness. Like that's a thing all across America.
Hmm.
Every once in a while, I'm feeling generous and like, hey, I got it. Cool. Here's $1. I'll buy you a sandwich. Whatever. And there was this like young lady that I would always see in Brooklyn. And she was always like near, let's say, like one of the train stops. And I would come out and I feel terrible. Has her sign. She got her like, her cart right next to her, looking sad, homeless. And one day I was with my best friend and I was like, oh, here's some change. Boom. Give her some change. We keep it moving. But he's like, bro, don't don't give her any money. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not that much. Like, he's like, bro, she has more money than you. I'm like, there's no
Shut the fuck
way.
up.
There's no way. Fast forward, he's like, pay attention to her nails. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I've seen her get into a Mercedes Benz and like drive away. Like, her job is to panhandle. And then I started doing the math, and I'm like, okay, like, man, you know what? Maybe this is not so absurd, because I'm like, why would why would you make that your job? Well, it's a cash business. If you could get a dollar, a dollar from let's say every I don't know 50 people, and you just stand on a populated like a really good like name one of like the train stops that like there's always bustling. If you can get $1 from every 50 by the end of the week, right? And you know what? I just said $1. There's going to be people who drop fives, that drop
Hmm.
tens. That, well, here's a 20. I was like, what? I was like, wait. And then, fast forward, I'm walking the same spot. Hey, can I get some money? I looked at her nails. I swear to you, I'm not like a nail technician, but I kind of know what some of these things are called. She had that French manicure tip. Her nails were looking on point, like better than like some women I've seen that like work in nail salons. And then I seen the Mercedes Benz pull up. She gets
Shut the fuck
up,
up.
puts her like raggedy stuff in the trunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So be careful out there when you're giving money to people because you might be giving money to somebody who actually has money. And
Yeah.
I'm like another note on this that's very like, it's relatable. So, my co-op has 6 buildings, right? So one of the buildings, there's this lady lives on the second floor. She's like a hoarder, like a bag lady. She looks or seems as if she's, a little off. She always walks around with like 4 coats on and looks like overly stuffed because she like stuffs like newspaper and like bags like on
Is she
her.
stealing shit?
No. Long story short, there was a fire. She was probably one of the causes of it. And because she's a hoarder in the apartment, there was like a lot of damage. And the co op was trying to get her like out because you caused like,
Hmm.
a couple $1 million in damage or something like that. This lady paid for that? Like, I'm
Yo,
telling you,
you
people,
never know, man. You never
you
fucking know.
never know here. And I'm not saying she's a scammer. I'm just saying looks
Or
are
deceiving.
deceiving here, where people you think have no money have a lot of it and like a ridiculous amount of it, and people who you would think have a ton of money have none.
Fair.
Kind of like Miami a bit, in the
I feel
sense
like
of I
most people in
have
Miami
like
don't have
an
money.
Aston Martin and it's parked in front of the projects.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing.
And people, I don't have an Aston Martin, by the way. Like,
No, but I
definitely
wish
don't.
I did.
I
So
have an
okay, one
unlimited Metro card.
another thing that sucks about living here, I would say like the smell. Like you get used to it, but like garbage, hot garbage in the summer, and especially after it rains, hot, wet garbage, that's just nasty. When
Yeah,
people
that's
pee in the street, people pee in the street, that's nasty. Smells like fucking nastiness. It's just gross.
yeah. People peeing in the street makes it bad. The fact that we just throw our garbage like
On the
in the
street,
street
in
all the
bags, not
time.
even like in a fucking bin,
No
which
dumpsters. Nope.
they're supposed to start doing, but like, come on.
There's no parking for that. There's like, are you gonna take more
Well,
parking
they're gonna
spaces
take
up?
parking away. They're gonna take parking away.
So yeah, that is tough.
Which they should fuck the parking. We need to fucking put we need to put the garbage in fucking bins so it's not fucking just chilling on a fucking sidewalk so that a rat can fucking get to it, break that shit open. That actually leads to more fucking rats, which is the next issue. Fucking rats.
Yeah, talking about master splinter, yoked up on steroids, rats. Like these boys are no joke.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're cute when I see them out like in the subway and shit.
No, not I. Not I. That's I
But
said this
like
fox.
they as long as they don't touch me and they don't come in my house, we're cool. Like you can have the outside.
One of my biggest fears is sitting on the train. Like, did you see that video that the rat crawled on the guy like as like he
Hell no.
passed out?
Fuck no. I would throw
Someone
up.
sent that to me, and I was like, "Why did you send that to me?" Because now like I'm terrified to fall asleep on the train because I would probably have a heart attack.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I would definitely
No.
have a heart attack.
That's a hard no.
Oh,
Like for me, I'm afraid of like because I'm from Miami. Like I'm afraid of like roaches that fly in your face and shit because that's totally happened. And here, like you don't really have those that much. Like those are just like outside roaches. You don't have those
wait,
like in your house. You have like the small German roaches in your house if you get them, which you
oh,
shouldn't because you should be clean.
so yeah, rats disgusting, huge problem. And then again, with like the fact that we just throw garbage in the street, yeah, that's like an even bigger problem. The fact that we have this many restaurants, like you can't really get rid of them because we're always gonna have food around.
Yo, so one thing I try to tell people is never live above anywhere that sells food, like a grocery store, a deli, or a restaurant, because like they're for sure gonna have rats and roaches. And where
And
the
maybe
fuck do you
not
think they're gonna
huge
go?
rats like people. We don't want you to get you afraid. Maybe not huge rats, but you most likely will have mice.
Yeah, it's like what? Where do you think they're gonna go? Especially in the winter when they're fucking cold, they're gonna fucking go to eat that fucking food that's there, and then they're gonna go up. That's just a natural fucking thing. What else? I think like the last thing I'll say about the lows of living in the city is it's fucking expensive as shit to live here. I mean, we do this all the time, right? We help people find apartments, and it is really fucking expensive. But I think the cost and these like downsides, right? The shit, the rats, the garbage, they're trade-offs, right? Like it's the price that we pay, literally and figuratively, to have the fucking awesome shit that is New York, right? Like
Yeah,
Central Park or any of the parks, fucking awesome, right? Like
Broadway
it's just such a
shows,
yeah, it's just a
awesome.
fun place to fucking be. So, but then I think there's some things that are like sometimes good, sometimes bad, like Showtime on the train.
I always clap for these guys because they amaze
I
me
think so.
every single
So like,
time.
yo, sometimes I think sometimes Showtime is like fucking hilarious and like, wow, I can't believe they do that shit. And then sometimes you might get kicked in the face. So like,
Yeah, and
like,
I kind of feel you only get kicked in the face if you're kind of douchey.
yeah,
Because if like
they're
they
really
ask
good
you
at
to
this.
move
Like, they're
over,
really fucking good at this shit.
like if they ask you to move over and you're like, I'm on my way to work, why do I have to like step aside for anyone? Yeah, you might
Yeah,
get kicked in the face, bro.
yeah.
I've
But they
seen
try
it.
not to do it like during like rush hour. Like
Yeah.
they do it like usually like during the day, like or late at night when there's not like when they have room to fucking run down the train and like start jumping around and shit.
Oh, I've seen it on a nice little packed train, which makes it
Oh,
even more
I don't
impressive.
think I've ever seen
These
it.
guys are doing backflips on a moving
Yeah, that's
train
crazy.
while people are standing all around them. It's
That's crazy.
amazing.
That's crazy.
Amazing. You can't get that anywhere. I'm sorry, Chicago. I'm sorry, but you guys do
Oh,
not have Showtime because Miami doesn't even
yeah.
have a train.
We do have a train. It just doesn't go anywhere. And it's not reliable. What was I gonna say? So the one thing that I think is like I just remembered it because we are talking about Showtime. I don't know if you've ever noticed. There's some people. I'm sure you've had to notice in like all your years here, but there's people that sometimes get on the train, and they announce like they ask if there's any homeless or hungry people on the train and they feed them. Like they're like, here's a sandwich or here's something. Like that's really fucking awesome, right? Like you're not gonna find that in most places. Like I think and and one of the things I like a myth that I really want to dispel is that New Yorkers are rude, mean people. New Yorkers are some of the nicest fucking people on the planet. We just don't have fucking time for your bullshit, right? But like, if we were rude people, we wouldn't be offering free food to homeless people on the train. If we were rude and mean people, we wouldn't help people that are lost on the street or on the train. Like in Miami, if you're driving and you try or just walking somewhere, which most people don't walk, but if you're trying to get somewhere and you're trying to ask a local like where to go, they will straight up ignore you. Like you could be in their face and they will just turn away. That is rude. That is fucking mean. Okay? Here it's like, okay, you're in my fucking way, but the fastest way to get you out of my way is to get you where you're going.
Even to the point where it's like, hey, follow me.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm going that way. Just like come with me. I got you. Okay, here this is where we split up. You go that way, I go this way. So yeah, I just wanted to quick tangent there. So Showtime, I think like people that don't know what Showtime is, that aren't from New York, it's just like that people like get on the train, they like start playing music and then they always say like, you know what time it is? It's Showtime. And then they start like
Showtime?
dancing. They start dancing, they start like doing like, I don't know, acrobatics on the train. It's crazy.
It's
It's like I said, sometimes fun, sometimes you're not in the mood, sometimes you get a little scared that they get a little too close and they actually might kick you.
performing art in New York is really big on the trains, on the subways, on the like the platforms, even in the stations. I don't know how recently you, like went through, let's say like 42nd Street, Times Square, kind of like that.
Recently.
So there is a section near the one, the NQ, and like the shuttle train. Like there's like an
Hmm.
area
Hmm.
where there's always going to be a performer,
Yeah.
whether it be
Yeah,
the
yeah. Oh,
guy
where they
that's
used the
dancing
record
with
store used to be there.
exactly,
Yeah.
whether it be the guy that's dancing with like the skeleton.
Shit,
He's
yeah,
always
that's
dancing
hilarious.
like salsa or
Yeah,
merengue,
I like wanted to take a video of it the other day and I missed it. Like it just
classic, or the ballerina that's just like on her tippy toes for like hours. I don't know how the hell she does that,
yeah,
but
it's
God
crazy.
bless, that's awesome.
I love when the mariachis get on the train.
Yeah, those are my like
But
honestly,
like
those are my
sometimes you're
favorite.
not in the mood, right? And sometimes you're just like, oh, come on, man.
Or the older gentlemen, like the barbershop like quartet like gentlemen that come and
Yeah.
like they're all in like they
Start
just
like
do it.
harmonizing. Yeah.
Yeah, they kill it every time. I give it to them every time.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
old dudes kill it. I like that. That's it's fun. It's you know, even though it can be annoying sometimes,
Hmm.
sure.
But where else is that gonna happen? Like nowhere. So it's like it's one of those like in between things, which is kind of awesome, kind of not.
I kind of like I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. What's another? All right, I'm trying to think of one more low
It's
that
not really a low. It's like a this is like in between shit.
that's an in between. Okay, I say all right. Another in between. The trains.
Yeah.
The trains. It is definitely. It's like yes, I'm glad and convenient that we have it, but also I'm like, oh my god, it could be so much better. It could be cleaner. It could be faster
It could for sure as shit be cleaner.
at times. So yeah,
Um,
that's another one that I'm like that's a hit or miss depending on the
yeah,
day
they
time.
definitely need to do some improvements there. But
Yeah.
I think one of the other like in between things is like one of the things that we mentioned earlier, like we're so desensitized to shit, like we're just so unfazed by shit. So like, you know, if somebody gets on the fucking train naked, like
I've seen
which
that.
has totally happened,
I've seen that.
you're gonna be like, man, whatever, and you're just gonna like keep looking forward, and as long as the person's not in front of you. So like you get desensitized by this shit. Not that it's a good thing, right? Like I'm not saying that somebody getting on the train naked is a good thing. But like you become desensitized to so much shit that shit just you don't even fucking flinch anymore. You're just like, all right, whatever, keep it moving.
Just another day. I call
Yeah.
it another Tuesday.
It's just another fucking day in New York. It's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
All right. Highs, lows,
So
betweenies.
yeah, I mean we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, right? The stuff that we love, the stuff that we don't love, and like the stuff that's in between. And I think the biggest thing is that we're all in this together, right? All New Yorkers are in this fucking rat race, literally together. And we put up with the shit because of the greatness that it is to live here, at least for us, right? Like it's a totally a personal, individual decision. It's not for everybody. And I don't mean like New York is not for everybody. I mean, literally everywhere is not for everybody. Like there are going to be
Yeah.
these places that are good for some people and not good for others, and vice versa.
I was just in recently I went to San Francisco.
Uh huh.
First time going that far west, like in America, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, this is like awesome. Like this weather is great. Like vibe is chill. Food was pretty good. Yeah, I can't live there. I can't live there. Those hills alone. I was like, oh hell no. Oh hell. I don't even like going
Yeah.
uptown sometimes because the
Yeah,
hills
me
are
either.
like too much.
Me fucking either.
So yeah, like you're absolutely right. Not every place is for everybody, but if that saying, if you could make it here, you could make it anywhere, like it's kind of true. Like
Yeah.
if you could deal with New York, you could deal with most places in America.
And if you could afford New York, you could literally probably afford most places in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, I go like everybody in Miami is complaining, oh, it's gotten so expensive. All the New Yorkers came here and they made it so expensive. Yes, property has gotten ridiculously expensive, but like just regular like food and like regular living expenses has gotten more expensive. Like they go to the restaurant, they're like, I'll have to pay like $15 for a cocktail. And I'm like, oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, that's kind of normal.
I'm good with that. 15 bucks, it's not 20. Fantastic. That's a deal.
It's like, I'll have 5 of those, please.
Yeah. So like, there's good things and bad things, and that might be a bad thing, right? That might be like I'm so jaded, but I'll take it as a positive. But I don't know. What do you like? Is there any advice that you would give to anybody that is moving to New York, and any advice that you would give to maybe a jaded New Yorker that's contemplating leaving?
Advice for people moving to New York. First, I'll give you like 3 things.
Okay.
Number 1,
By the way,
contact
guys,
either.
advice from Josh,
This is like,
always killer.
trust
Always
me,
killer.
like she knows
This
when
is
I
real.
met her, I was like, yo, I'm gonna give you some piece of advice right here, and like your life is gonna be a lot better afterwards.
Hell yeah, it was. Just meeting you.
They're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. um, Number 1, reach out to Rachel or myself, and we will help you get an apartment. We
Hell
will
yeah,
give
we
you the
will.
realness. Go back and watch all our episodes of Pinpointe Unfiltered, and you'll laugh, cry, maybe not cry, but maybe you
You
will
might
cry
cry.
when you
You
see
maybe
some of the
might cry.
prices out there. But no, seriously, reach out to us. We can help make that transition a lot easier, a lot less stressful. I think that might, and if even if it's not us, like all jokes aside, if you're moving to New York, if you know someone that like lives here, like really like tap in and like get a feel. Try to come out here a couple
Mhm.
times before you make the big move, because the neighborhoods are different and not every neighborhood is meant for every person. Really, really ask yourself those like hard questions, like, all right, what do I want my life to kind of look like?
Mhm.
What am I into? Those things are important. My second piece of advice, anyone moving here, get yourself a nice coat. Not
Yeah.
fancy, I mean like warm.
Warm coat.
A
Doesn't matter
warm
what you look
coat.
like at this point, like in the winter season, and nobody is like everybody's just dressed for function, and then underneath their coat or multiple layers is their fashion, right? So like everybody looks like shit when you're walking on the street because we're just trying to stay warm. But then once we get inside, we take that shit off. Now you have fashion. So it's definitely function over fashion.
So along with the coat, I guess I could put this as B, like 2B. Um, we've
Yeah,
had
those
it.
are things that I got when I first moved here. I was like, I need boots and I need a coat. And I got a North Face that I still have and some like snow boots that I still have that I actually end up, the snow boots I only use like a couple times a year. But like,
But you need to have them.
those days like when we have like those crazy ass snowstorms and I'm trying to like walk through the city or like the fucking snow is like all piled up because of the snow piles and you're trying to like cross an intersection, like a crosswalk, and like you have all these giant fucking mounds of snow. Everybody's like trying to like, in their trucks or something, like find a way around it. And I'm in my fucking giant ass boots. I'm just like,
I go through it.
fuck this shit. Yeah. So totally, those are things that you guys need.
And I guess the last piece of advice, your idea of space,
Hmm.
kind of throw that out the window
Yeah.
because we don't
But
have it here.
we don't have that much space. We have very
We
little
build
space, but
up.
you become really creative of how to
Yeah.
use space.
So yeah, those are my 3 pieces of advice if you're moving to New York. Call me.
What about on people that are jaded New Yorkers?
Jaded New Yorkers. I'm going to start off like the same. The first one, get in contact with me or Rachel so we could school you on why like it's awesome to be here.
Hell yeah, it is.
Especially for me, where most of like my childhood friends were all New Yorkers. We've been here our entire lives. So yeah, you get sick of the cold, not having space, it's expensive, like all these things. But my friends that have left, I hear all the time, like, oh my God, I want to go back to New York. All the time.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's like in Florida and like, yes, he has his house. He just sent me a picture the other day, like him by his pool. That's beautiful. Ask him like, when was the last time you had a good bagel? When was the last time you had a good bacon, egg, and cheese? Like,
Oh yeah, bacon, egg, and cheese. Everybody has their version, but there's nothing like the ones in New York.
so yeah, for the jaded New Yorkers, you have to kind of realize what you have and be grateful for being in one of, if not the best cities in the world. And you have to understand that you cannot, even if I go to Chicago, LA, major cities, those are major cities. They're a cuter version of what New York is. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Kind of small, but nice. I like it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not a
not
fan of
bad to
LA.
visit. And nothing, this is not to disrespect any of these cities because they're great cities that like have plenty of like culture and potential, but they're not New York where we have so much all the time. So yeah, like I think for the jaded person is like you kind of have to like remember that this is a great place. This is a wonderful place to like grow up, live, experience. I say every adult should spend at least a year or two in New York just to like get a feel for it and then go back wherever you want.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think it's a great experience to live here. And I think if you're just moving to New York and you're from somewhere completely different, I always suggest living in Manhattan at least for the first year so you can have that experience. And then you can figure out, like, which, if you don't want to be in Manhattan, which borough you do want to be in, which neighborhood. But I always suggest, like, figure out what it's like to live in the city first.
It's a blast.
It is like I think for like the jaded New Yorkers, I think like definitely hit us up because maybe you have your like priorities all fucked up, right? Maybe you're like spending too much money to live in a fifth floor walk up,
Maybe you're in
you
the
know,
wrong borough. Maybe you're in the wrong neighborhood.
like maybe you have to maybe you're paying too much money because you have fucking washer dryer and unit and you don't fucking need that shit. You could just like go to the fucking laundromat in the corner and have them pick up and drop off your shit and then that actually saves you money and time. Stop paying so much money for laundry and unit if that's something that you're doing and then you can get your time back and your money back from having somebody pick it up and drop it off and fold it for you and wash it and all that good shit. So you might be living in New York and be jaded because you're doing shit wrong. So hit us up so that we can help you do shit right.
Yeah, I'll give you the 411, the inside scoop. Like, this is how you navigate New York so it
Oh
could
yeah.
benefit you,
You
not
don't want to
so
go to the
you're like,
grocery store and fucking carry fucking 30 pounds of fucking grocery stores. That shit gets delivered. Easy. Now there's an app for that. But before you could just ask the fucking grocery, hey, can you deliver this to my fucking apartment? And they would
which
fucking
is what
climb
I
those
would do
stairs
all
and
the
do it.
time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're doing like a bigger grocery shopping. Like, all right, yeah, deliver that to the house.
Yeah.
I'm particular with people touching my produce and picking the right produce. So I don't really love the like Instacart kind of thing,
Yeah,
which
but you could still shop for yourself and then have them deliver. Like not Instacart, but the grocery store.
that's exactly my point. That's I'm more for that. Again, we have so many options. That's the great part of New York is there's so many options. There's so many different ways that you could make life work for you.
Yeah.
It is expensive, but as you get to know how to make it inexpensive, like oh, I go to this store for this, I could go here like this. I know this person that could get me these discounts. That is New York life. It's all
Yeah.
who you know.
It's all about trade-offs. Like that was another really good piece of advice that I got actually from my cousin when I first moved to the city is like it's all about trade-offs. So figure out what is really important to you and what's not so important to you and focus on those things that are important to you. So if it's important for you to be close to the subway, right? But not important to you to have like a massive apartment, then you can do that, right? You could find that thing for you, right? Like if it's important for you to be close to where you hang out, but not necessarily where you work, you can make those adjustments. All of these things can be adjusted. You just need to kind of take a step back and look at things holistically.
Yep.
So I think that's it, man.
And remember, no one has a perfect apartment. I don't care how much
No,
money you
there's no such
have.
thing as perfect
No such thing as a perfect apartment in New York.
anywhere. There's no such thing as perfect anywhere and anything.
There is it's the equalizer for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you
yeah,
just
New
gotta
York is awesome.
just and you gotta work to make yourself happy.
It
Period.
ain't easy.
No, and that's anywhere. It has nothing to do with being in New York. You just gotta work at being happy. Figure out what works for you, what doesn't. And on that note, I think we're good.
Play our outro music, DJ. Ooh, I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out one day.
We have outro music. It's just not great.
I'm working on
All
that, by
right.
the way.
Where where do people catch you, Josh?
You already know. Come see me. I'm outside. Catch me in the streets. Don't forget iced coffee, black, couple sugars.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
This was a fun episode, Rach. Thank you.
Thank you, man.